What's up, you guys? Today is April 5th, 2019, and today we're going to talk about a former cowboy by the name of David Irving. He has made some interesting claims this week, and we're going to talk about it right now. I'm going to start by reading this article titled, David Irving, Dallas Cowboys coach Jason Garrett is uncomfortable with the people of color. All right. David Irving's ugly divorce from the Dallas Cowboys got even uglier Thursday when the former NFL defensive tackle said during a radio appearance that head coach Jason Garrett is uncomfortable with the people of color. He's uncomfortable with people of color. Okay, that's a lofty, accusation right there. Let's continue on. It's not just one person that doesn't get along with him. It's a lot of people, Irving said. I feel like he needs to be more comfortable with people of color. To be honest with you, this is a league where there's a lot of people of color around, and you're going to have to deal with us. If you don't know how to talk to us or relate to us, we just never get along. He's the only person I haven't gotten along with in pretty much all of my career in football. I think it's a little uncomfortable for him. Not to say the man is racist. He's definitely not racist. Do not get me wrong. It's just maybe he's socially awkward. Okay. First you say he needs to get comfortable. He needs to become comfortable or learn how to become comfortable with the people of color. But you're also saying he's not racist? See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, David Irving is just a mental basket case. He doesn't even know what the fuck he's saying. When you say someone needs to be comfortable, needs to become more comfortable with the people of color, or you accuse him of being very uncomfortable with people of color, you're essentially calling him racist. That's what you're essentially calling him. But now you turn around and say he's definitely not racist. He's just socially awkward. See, that's why, man, and I'll say that later on. Let's continue on. This is unbelievable. Okay. The article continues. Irving might not be the most credible source. He and Garrett had a falling out over his marijuana use, which ultimately led to an indefinite suspension for Irving and his subsequent retirement. He told me I should just quit, smoke all the weed I want. The team didn't need me, Irving told USA Today Sports last month. I'm a distraction to the team. He views marijuana as a drug, whereas I view it as a medicine. It's not a good situation. Listen, David Irving, it doesn't matter what you view marijuana as. The NFL views it as a drug. The NFL states clearly in its drug policy that marijuana is not allowed. You cannot use marijuana. You just can't. That's what it states. So it really doesn't matter how you see it, man. You are playing in a league that has rules. If you want to stay in that league, remain in good standing with that league, follow the rules. It's simple as that, man. Your self-entitlement and how you view things, that's not how we go about shit in the real world. It's not hard, man. It doesn't matter what you view something as. If you want to participate in a certain organization that has certain rules, you have to abide by those rules. It's not hard, man. It's not hard. Oh my God, this guy, man. Oh, holy shit. Let's keep going. Okay. It says, Irving did admit that his problems with Garrett might have derived from his less than ideal work ethic. You think? Instead of throwing around accusations of racism, he's definitely not racist, but you're throwing around, accusations of racism, but then you go around and say this? Okay, just by you speaking, it seems like Jason Garrett had a problem with you putting weed over the team and having a less than ideal work ethic. You said this out of your own mouth. Before you opened your big ass mouth and said racism this, racism that, my racism, shouldn't you have come to the conclusion that maybe it was me and my selfish desires and my laziness was what caused Jason Garrett to look at me as a malcontent, or look at me look at me, with a suspicious look, or look at me as unworthy. Come on, that didn't ring a bell to you? Let's keep on. Now, going back to this, Irving did admit that his problems with Garrett might have derived from his less than ideal work ethic. I know he has a problem with me because I don't necessarily work as hard as he thinks I should work to be as good as I am in football, Irving said. I feel like Jason is one of those guys where, growing up in football, he was always the second-hand man or the third-string guy, and I feel like he had to work his ass off to even be able to step on the field with some of these guys. Me, I could roll out of bed with a hangover and go outperform anybody. I don't think he liked that. This is a guy who's extremely delusional and he completely forgot where he came from. He was on the practice squad for Kansas City. Jason Garrett gave you an opportunity to play and show off your talents. And this is what you do? You refuse to work. You refuse to put down the weed. Then you throw around accusations of racism, and that's extremely serious. You can't just throw around racism willy-nilly. You just can't do it. That's a very powerful word in today's society. You can't use that term loosely. You better have credible evidence, because if you don't, and I don't like this about black people. We always throw around the R word when there isn't any there, when there isn't a credible instance of racism. And then when there is a credible instance of racism, we look like we're crying wolf, because we always throw that word around. We have to watch that shit, man. If you're going to use that word, you better have clear evidence that there is racism involved or racism is being displayed. Because if you don't, people are going to look at you like you're crying wolf, and they will never, ever fucking take you seriously. And just when he says shit, and he's so delusional. You came from the practice squad, man. Obviously, you can't just wake up with a hangover and go outperform everybody. You couldn't outperform anybody in Kansas City. You were on the practice squad. What does that tell you? This guy got a little taste of success because he was working with Jason Garrett and Rod Marinelli, improving his technique, improving his overall game. He showed up in a couple of games, had some success, and now this guy thinks he's an all-pro. Fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. He came from humble beginnings, and now he just believes he's this Hall of Famer all-pro. Oh. Let me continue on with this. Actually, I think that was a little bit of the end. Let's see. A couple of people, just came out, and yeah, the article is over, but the people just like giving their like thoughts and opinions on it. But you guys, like, black people, especially black men, throwing around the word racism makes you look extremely weak. The only time you should ever hurl that word around is when there's a legitimate case of racism, which there aren't many nowadays. I know people are going to call me an Uncle Tom and all this shit. I know it's going to happen. But you guys, we are afforded opportunities to succeed. We have no excuses. And to blame your problems, your lack of work ethic, your drug dependency on racism is egregious. It is asinine. It's almost blasphemous. You cannot blame people for your problems. You cannot throw around racism like the word racism just like you can't throw it around like it's candy. You can't do that. Because when there are legitimate cases of racism, the dominant society and everybody else is going to look at us and be like, they're crying wolf again. They're bringing out the race card again. It happens all the time. And David Irving himself admitted that, well, maybe it was just because we didn't have the same views on weed and maybe I didn't work as hard and all this other shit. He admitted it himself. He contradicted himself. He refuted his own claims of racism, which he claims he's not racist. But when you throw around, he needs to be more comfortable around people of color, that's racist. You guys, I remember I did a video on David Irving about a little over a month ago. And I was talking about how entitled he was, how big of a piece of shit he was, how delusional he was. This just feeds into everything I've been saying about him. Y'all need to listen to me when it comes to this shit. Do not fall down the same path as David Irving. This man ruined his football career because he refused to work and he wants to stay on the weed all day. He's not a man. Real men do what they have to do. We don't sit around and complain and want the rules to conform to what we are or what we do. We follow the rules, we get our paper, and we get out of there. That's what we do, and then we do whatever the fuck we want. This isn't a man. He put himself over his career, his family, and his ability to make money. He's a piece of shit. He is a fucking piece of shit who doesn't deserve respect at all. You guys, follow your boy on Instagram, Gerard John 1991. That's JARRODJOHN 1991. I'm done with this shit, man. That's my thoughts on it. Tell me what you guys think. And yeah, I'm out. Peace.